This Mocha style banana bread might be the perfect healthy breakfast and is also super easy to make. Place a bowl for the dry ingredients on a scale and start with 120 grams of oat flour. You don't need to buy oat flour from the store if you have a blender, just add 120 grams of rolled oats and blend on high for about 1 minute to create your own homemade oat flour. You can also use all-purpose flour if you want, the calories will remain the same, however the cake won't have that nutty flavor that it will have with oats. Next is 30 grams of a sweetener, and I'm currently using a mix of erythritol and sucralose. They both don't have this weird aftertaste that stevia has. Then I will add vanilla protein powder. 60 grams or 2 scoops go into the bowl. I'm using whey for this recipe instead of the casein that I usually use, because the added banana that I will add later on provides more than enough moisture. Next is 40 grams of cocoa powder, followed up by a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, and lastly a pinch of salt just for flavor. Give this a whisk for about half a minute just to make sure that the baking leaveners are well distributed through all of the dry ingredients. It should look grayish brown like here. Then before moving on, don't forget to preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius or 350 F. Then place a bowl on a scale and now add in 2 ripe bananas. Banana bread is the perfect recipe to use overripe bananas that already have black spots. The more spots it has, the better, because this will make the cake even sweeter and more delicious. Both bananas weigh about 250 grams. Next is 100 grams of coffee, preferably espresso, which will taste delicious, especially in combination with the cocoa powder. Mash the banana with a fork for about a minute or so until it turns into mush like this. Then crack in 1 whole egg and 100 grams of egg whites, followed up by non-fat Greek yogurt. You can also use skyr if you want. 100 grams goes into the bowl, and then give everything a stir. I'm going to use a 22 x 10 centimeter baking dish, which is around 9 x 3 inches, with parchment paper. And here's a small trick: if you crumple the parchment paper into a ball, it's much easier to place into any baking dish regardless of its shape. Now transfer the wet ingredients to the dry ingredients and give it a stir. In the beginning this will look like it's not enough moisture and it doesn't mix, but if you keep whisking, after half a minute or so everything is hydrated and it will turn into a creamy consistency. Now optional, but I highly recommend this, is to prepare 30 grams of walnuts, give them a rough chop and then add them to the batter. I love walnuts in this recipe. They will add 200 extra calories, but it's well worth it in my opinion. So add everything into the baking dish, place it in the oven and bake the banana bread for about 45 minutes. After baking, remove the banana bread from the dish and let it cool down for about 15 minutes. And now look at this absolute beauty. The cake has everything for a perfect breakfast. It has oats, fruits, a ton of protein, and it tastes absolutely amazing. It lasts in the fridge for about 3 to 4 days, so I would cut it into 4 pieces and store them in an airtight container in the fridge. The entire banana bread comes in at 1456 calories, 176 grams of carbs, 40 grams of fat, and 109 grams of protein. I made a cookbook that helped me go from this to this without even thinking about being on a diet. 190 low-calorie, high-protein recipes from breakfast, lunch, or dessert, and even nutritional tables or protein sources. Everything you need is in here. And the best part is that I will constantly be updating the book with new recipes, and you will get every recipe update for free once you've purchased it. Join the thousands of people that already bought the book. The link is in the description.